What's up everyone? It's 3 days to go until the 13th eviction of Big Brother 23 and the house guests are continuing to scheme and plot against each other. Meanwhile, Azah has had some choice words about Hannah and her eviction. We've got so much to talk about, guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Now, right before we get started, folks, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please hit the like button as well. That really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. It's this Bermuda Triangle of YouTube that is extremely difficult to understand, but I understand that hitting the subscribe button and like button really helps out my content, folks. I would appreciate it if you could do that. So while we didn't get an episode of Big Brother last night because of the Emmy Awards, we did indeed get the live feeds as always, so of course we're going to talk about that, folks. So we saw a segment in the day where Big D and Carlin were sat in the backyard. There is a lot of conversation now at this point in the game where it's just small talk, and just chit-chat, general chit-chat about nothing, because when it gets down to the final four, people have their mind made up after the veto's being played. We know what's going to happen, and it's kind of just like saving face, essentially, and it's just... Listen, when there's 4 people compared to 16 people, the game talk is considerably less. So they were talking about kind of the game, saying, you know, are they going to hear back from some of the house guests after this year? I think it led on from the conversation that we were just reflecting on the season, kind of going, it was weird how we didn't get the slip and slide competition this year. And also, I'm going to chime in on that one. I love the slip and slide comp. I mean, it would have been nice to see that one this year, but do you know what? It's still good to have a season of Big Brother. But either way, they are right. The slip and slide would have been fantastic. But they were talking about, you know, are we going to hear from the likes of the people that we've evicted, and Big D was saying that he doesn't think we'll hear from Brent or Travis, and Carlin thought, you know, they'd get over it, but I don't feel like they've really got anything to get over. I mean, if it does feel genuinely like a lifetime ago when Travis and Brent were in the house, and Frenchie for that matter. I feel like Big D and Frenchie were like that anyway, so I'm sure they'll be fine. As for Travis, I mean, he's kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, and Brent, well, I don't know necessarily if many of the house guests will want to associate themselves with Brent after the game. Just that's gameplay alone. Of course, personal relationships are totally different outside the house, but it didn't seem like a lot of people wanted to, from the way they were acting when they were evicting Brent in week 3. So I don't know, folks, but I mean, listen, it's a game at the end of the day, and it's like what I was discussing yesterday. You make your moves in the game, and then the friendships are for afterwards. Don't try and honour the friendship or do whatever. I know it sounds cruel and cold, but it's a cruel and cold game if you want to win the money, and that's why I strongly believe if the friendship or relationship or whatever you form in that house is true, it will last after the game. If even if you have to make the cruelest move and take your closest person out. Example, Tiffany taking Claire out, telling her the news, but it's truly evident and totally apparent that Claire and Tiffany are going to be the bestest of friends after they get out of this house. So that's the perfect example of making your big move in the game, whether it benefits your game or not, but making the move that is big in your eyes, and living with that for the game, and then being okay with mending that relationship afterwards. Or you might not even have to mend it. If someone understands it like Claire did, then the relationship's going to be fine after the game. The point is, make big moves, play the damn game, because you're not there to make friends. You are there to earn the money, and friends on top of that are kind of a bonus, but you are there for a once-in-a-lifetime, potentially, opportunity that so many people would give one of their arms for. So play your heart out when you're in there. That's the moral of the story. Big D and Carlin went on to talk about who they think is going to become America's favourite house guest, and they were discussing their thoughts on it. And Big D was kind of saying he thinks it's going to be Derek X. Carlin said he thinks it's a toss-up. He said, I think 45% Derek X, 45% Big D. Don't know what y'all think on that one. And 10% somebody else, whatever that would be. Which leads me on to the question of the day. I have a strong idea on who the top vote getter will be for this, but folks, hit me up in the comment section. Who would you like to win America's favourite house guest? It's never too early to start asking that question. I might have asked it maybe once before this season, but we're getting closer and closer now, so that's going to be the question of the day today, folks. Who would you like to see win America's favourite player? I do believe, if I'm going to be betting, I think Derek X is going to get the most. I think the top 3 vote getters in the comment section is going to be Derek X, Tiffany and Claire, but I think Derek X will sweep it in regards to who people want to win. So, folks, that's the question of the day. Who would you like to see become America's favourite house guest? Xavier continues to plant the idea in Big D's head that Carlin needs to be the person to be evicted, because, of course, whilst it can't even come down to a break the tie situation this week, it truly is the power is in Big D's hands, especially if Xavier chooses not to use the power of veto, which it is looking as the case he is not going to use it. So X is really having to try and control Big D this week. And lawyers are good at telling people what they should do and recommending what is the best approach to something. So I'm sure Big D will listen to X and do exactly what X wants him to. It's just following orders at this point. That's kind of what the process is. And, he's kind of saying, look, taking Carland out is going to be your big move moment, or just a big move. And what have I been talking about all week about how Big D does think, or maybe for 2 weeks now, Big D truly thinks that he is this mastermind and he is this person who's controlled the game and controlled the narrative. So when I was saying how fantastic it was when people like Hannah come along and say, you're doing great, yeah, you're doing amazing, stroking the ego, stroke the ego. That's what people like Big D need. That's how you gain control over somebody. If somebody has a big ego, and I'm not saying he has a big ego on a personal level, just a big ego game-wise, which he does, stroking their ego never harms anything. And saying, it's a big move for you. It's gonna be huge to look good on your resume. That's gonna make them go, maybe it will look good. If I can take out this person and X is telling me I can do this, if the HOH is telling me this, then I'm going to be even better than I think I am already. So I think that's great that X is doing that, and he's just trying to get what he wants essentially this week. Because I do strongly think without Sway, Big D could end up potentially evicting Azah. I think Big D thinks he can beat Carlin. I think he thinks he can beat Xavier. I think he thinks he's going to get taken to the final two, which he should, in regards to if anybody wants to beat him. On a fan level, somebody who hasn't played as strong a game as that, I don't think deserves to get to the end. But listen, I'm a strong believer in whatever place you get, that's the way the cards fall, because that's how you've played. Everybody has equal opportunity to change their fate in the game, and sometimes if you just don't win that competition, then it can be unlucky. And I'm not saying it's always fair, but I'm saying it's the way it happens, and you can't argue with that sometimes. But I do believe, like I said just then, stroking the ego and really, making him feel like he's making this big move is really good. So X is working that angle there, and I think it's the right thing to do. And it really is. I've said it time and time again this week. This is X's game to win at this point. Xavier was discussing how he would like to potentially return in the future to Big Brother, but not as a player, but as a coach, like season 14. I guess it's all about interpretation on who you believe qualifies for a coach in Big Brother standards. When you look at people like Janelle and Dan and Brittany and even Mike Buggy at the time, not now, but at the time, what we didn't know of him, obviously, they are people who can be classed as legends at the time. Let me say that once again. Xavier has played a good game, but in my eyes, he's not somebody that I go, yeah, I'd love to see him back as a coach. If we're talking modern day coaches like the past few seasons, I would have to say Tyler would have to be one. Because Tyler always plays the game hard. Even in Big Brother 22, when he didn't even seem like he was trying that hard, he still managed to make it far because he worked those social relationships. So when Tyler can turn it on and really hustle hard, then you know that he's somebody who could hustle as a coach. I even think someone like Ian, who was the love child of the coach's season, he could become a coach himself now. And I'm trying to think of other people that could do it. I think Tiffany is capable of becoming a coach as well, and I think Vanessa would be a fantastic coach as well. There's so many people you could name, but I personally don't think Xavier's one. I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts on that. That could be another question today, folks. Who would you like to see come back as coaches from any season if we're going to get another coaches season? Now, quite a disappointing moment in the day from Azah was when they were sat around the dinner table, and Azah was kind of... She was just laughing her head off at Hannah, basically, in her eviction. I mean, you all saw the eviction in which, when Hannah was told she was evicted and told she was getting to go on the block, she looked like a rabbit caught in the headlights, a deer in the headlights, and she looked terrified and really kind of sad. And Azah was kind of saying, she looked like a scared little girl, and she was laughing and laughing and laughing. And, and then she was saying, it's her dark sense of humour and she doesn't mean to laugh and stuff. I don't. To me, I get it. It's a game, and people need to get over it. But you can't help but look at it and go, it's mocking someone. It's poor character, in my opinion. Now, I always talk about how I think everybody deserves a chance to grow when they're out the house. People shouldn't just be cancelled straight away, because that's where I stand with things. I think, yes, people can do outrageous things and things that you go, no, I don't like that, as many people have done this season and past seasons gone. But I'm a strong believer in people need an opportunity to grow. Yes, you can be disgusted in the way somebody behaves. I'm not saying this extent for Azah, because yes, it kind of sucked the way she was going on, but this isn't anything too bad. But I am a strong believer in people need to be educated when they leave the house on the things that they've said and give them a chance to grow, rather than just shutting them down straight away. Because what kind of people are we if we don't give people a chance? you know, if you give people chance and chance and chance and they continue to mess it up, that's when it's okay to say hell no. But if you just shut people down straight away, in my eyes, I don't think it works like that. I think you need to educate people and give them a chance to grow. But like I said there, I don't necessarily think this is an educating moment for Azah, but I just think she needs to be careful doing this kind of thing because it never looks good. Just be a bit aware of how you can come across when you're saying things like that. Not great, and it's sad on Hannah's part because Hannah was kind of treated pretty bad in that double eviction. It was kind of, and to be fair, I don't even know what Azah's thinking in regards to saying those sort of things about Hannah when she basically wasted her own HOH playing for somebody else. So I think we really know who's in the wrong here. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on this week so far. Are you happy with Xavier as the head of household? Would you like to see Azah leave the Big Brother house this week? Would you like to see Kylan leave the Big Brother house this week? Or if the veto is used by a very slim chance, would you like to see Big D leave the house this week? There's so much to talk about, folks, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But folks, I will say as I always do, make sure that you're staying safe, staying positive and staying healthy out there, and be kind to one another. That's super important. Be kind to one another. You know, that was a theme on this video today. I'll say it once more, be kind to one another. But folks, in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.